Welcome to AI Pulse for the 20th of March 2026, a briefing for business leaders and their advisors. First up, a significant report from the Hackett Group this week highlights a critical shift in how finance departments are operating. Their study reveals a substantial 5.3% productivity gap, a concerning figure when you consider that workloads are consistently rising, while headcounts are, in many cases, declining. This isn't just about doing more with less, it signals a profound transition for artificial intelligence, moving it from a purely analytical advisor to a primary operational doer. We're seeing autonomous transaction processing now handling the bulk of accounts payable and revenue cycles, taking over tasks that were once the exclusive domain of human finance professionals. This redefines the roles within finance, demanding new skills and a strategic rethink of workflow. The implication is clear. The future of finance isn't just augmented by AI, it's increasingly executed by it. This efficiency gain, while powerful, brings with it new challenges around oversight and skill development. It's a moment for leaders to assess whether their operational models are keeping pace with these technological advancements. A couple of questions to consider today. If your finance team is shrinking while the workload grows, are you hiring traditional accountants or agent orchestrators who can manage automated systems? And how do you ensure that your autonomous revenue cycles remain as auditable and transparent as the human-led processes they replaced? Second, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS, has just concluded a groundbreaking initiative called Project Mindforge, introducing a mandatory AI risk management toolkit for its financial sector. This is a pivotal moment because it fundamentally shifts AI governance from a best practice recommendation to a contractual mandate. What this means for financial institutions operating in Singapore is that they are now contractually obligated to implement machine-readable oversight for every autonomous decision made by their AI models. This isn't just about documenting processes, it's about embedding compliance directly into the code, ensuring real-time transparency and accountability. This move sets a new global benchmark, indicating that sovereign regulators are no longer content with mere policy statements. They demand verifiable, digital proof of risk mitigation. For any financial institution, particularly those with international operations, this could significantly impact their compliance frameworks and operational costs. It forces a re-evaluation of how AI models are developed, deployed, and monitored, pushing for a level of algorithmic transparency that has, until now, largely been aspirational. A couple of questions to consider today. Is your AI risk management still a manual checklist, or is it integrated directly into your model's code for real-time compliance? And how will you maintain a competitive edge if your sovereign compliance costs in regulated markets are significantly higher than those of your unregulated global competitors? Third, a dominant theme emerging from this week's Gartner Data and Analytics Summit was the unequivocal declaration of the universal semantic layer as a mandatory requirement for 2026. This isn't just a technical recommendation, it's a strategic imperative designed to actively combat what Gartner terms AI debt. As enterprises increasingly deploy multiple agentic systems, AI models, designed to act autonomously, the risk of these systems operating on fragmented, inconsistent, or even contradictory data logic skyrockets. This fragmentation leads to costly inconsistencies, often manifesting as hallucinations or erroneous decisions that can result in significant financial losses, reputational damage, and erosion of trust. A universal semantic layer ensures that all these disparate AI agents draw from a single, consistent source of truth, standardizing definitions, metrics, and relationships across the entire data landscape. This strategic move is about building a robust, reliable foundation for enterprise AI, preventing the expensive rework and mitigating the operational risks associated with disparate data interpretations. It underpins the reliability and trustworthiness of all AI-driven insights and actions. A couple of questions to consider today. Is your AI debt growing because your different agentic systems are operating on fragmented and inconsistent data logic? And how much hallucination risk are you willing to tolerate in your enterprise operations before you mandate a unified semantic foundation? Fourth, the European Parliament has introduced a latest resolution suggesting a flat-rate copyright fee of up to 7% of global turnover for AI providers utilizing European data. This is a monumental development that signals the rise of what we might call extraterritorial AI law. The core implication here is that any AI model offered within the European Union, regardless of where it was originally developed or hosted, could soon be subject to these substantial retroactive fees and stringent transparency mandates. This move is a clear attempt by European regulators to assert jurisdiction over the economic value generated by AI models trained on European creative works and data. It fundamentally redefines the cost of doing business for global AI developers and service providers, potentially forcing a complete overhaul of their international expansion strategies and pricing structures. Furthermore, the emphasis on transparency and data usage mandates could set a new global baseline for how AI models interact with copyrighted material and personal data. This isn't just a regional policy. It's a potential precursor to a new global regulatory landscape for AI. A couple of questions to consider today. If a 7% global turnover fee becomes a standard cost of doing business, how will that impact your international expansion and pricing models? And is your legal team prepared for machine-readable opt-outs to become a mandatory global baseline for data usage? Finally, we're witnessing the launch of groundbreaking auto-research initiatives by industry pioneers, a development that is dramatically lowering the barrier to recursive self-improvement in business intelligence. What this means is that companies are now leveraging sophisticated AI to autonomously probe their own vulnerabilities, identify nascent market gaps, and even forecast strategic opportunities, not just periodically, but 24/7. This continuous, self-improving strategic analysis creates an incredibly dynamic, strategic moat that evolves at a pace far exceeding what any human-led consulting firm or internal strategy team could ever track. The traditional cycle of quarterly or annual strategic reviews is being rendered obsolete as AI agents continuously scan, learn, and adapt, generating insights in minutes rather than months. This capability is fundamentally reshaping competitive landscapes, allowing businesses to react with unprecedented agility and foresight. It's a game changer for competitive intelligence and strategic planning, forcing every organization to rethink how they identify and capitalize on growth opportunities. A couple of questions to consider today. If your competitors are using AI to identify your market weaknesses in minutes, how can your traditional, quarterly, strategic reviews stay relevant? And are you prepared to trust an auto-research agent to define your next $100 million growth opportunity? To summarize, the 5 things to know today are: finance departments are using autonomous agents to bridge a growing productivity gap. New sovereign mandates are turning AI risk management into a machine-readable compliance requirement. Universal semantic layers are becoming essential to eliminate hallucination debt across agentic systems. Extraterritorial laws may soon impose global turnover fees on AI providers operating in Europe. Automated research agents are shifting the speed of business strategy from months to minutes. That's it for today. AI Pulse is a briefing for business leaders and their advisors, published Tuesdays and Fridays each week. If you like what you hear, share it and subscribe to the channel for updates.